The tire stopped talking where the gravel thinned, and the trees stood dark along the shore. I killed the lights and let the evening in, heard the engine tick a little more. Dropped the gate on that old pickup bed, set the lantern down beside my hand, and the lake held on to the last thin red, like it knew a man might need to land. He came around and settled by my boot, same old friend with the patient eyes, close enough to catch the firelight through, close enough to let the long day slide. No big noise, no restless kind of need, just the pines and the cooling frame, and the kind of quiet only evening brings, when you finally don't have to explain. I took the guitar from the passenger side, felt the wood still warm against my chest, leaned back easy on the tailgate line, let a low chord find a place to rest. It moved out slow across the darker water, plain and deep and road worn true, like a song gets better when the miles are over, and the night has room to carry you. Been a long day under faded signs, gas stops, 2-lane bends and dust, hands on the wheel and a head full of time, keeping all the little plans from rust. But nothing in me felt too far gone, just the honest kind of tired men know, the kind that lives when the road lets off, and a warm light meets you soft and low. The lantern glass put amber on the chrome, on the bed rail cooler in the grain, and every rough old thing looked right at home, in that fire and cedar glow again. He laid his chin across my worn bootlace, watched the sparks rise and disappear, and I sang into that open place, like the whole good dark had come to hear. Not a bright song, not a polished one, not a thing for crowded rooms, just a low line for the setting sun, and the smoke drifting through the blue. Something steady as an old back road, something calm as a faithful dog, something made for men who carry loads, then set them down when the fire gets warm. Across the lake the moon came pale and clean, through the tops of those waiting pines, and the old truck sat like it had seen 1,000 more of these quiet times. Maybe that is all a man can ask, at the end of work, at the end of miles, one low voice, one lantern on the dash, I kept the rhythm easy in my hands. Let the chorus breathe and never push. And he stayed there like he understands how a rough day softens in the hush. No sadness here, no looking back too long. Just the peace that comes when you arrive, and the kind of night that turns a song into something close to being alive. When the fire dropped down to coals and red, I set the guitar by my side, pulled the jacket closer at the edge, watched the dark lean easy on the line. Tomorrow's road can wait beyond the trees. It'll still be there when morning wakes, but tonight belongs to lantern heat, low mail songs, and the breathing lake. The kettle started talking low, right where the fire met cedar smoke. And the old truck stood with its tailgate down, like it knew this was enough. I had my jacket round my shoulders, boots and dirt, one hand on strings, and the lake lay dark beyond the glow, holding still beneath the trees. He was stretched out near the lantern light, that same good dog with easy trust, watching sparks go up in little lines, then settling back into the hush. I let a low chord meet the evening, rough and warm across the shore. Not for show, not for anybody, just for what a quiet night is for. It had been a long pull through the day, work and road and all their weight, but not the kind that breaks a man, just the kind that makes him late. For the better part of living, fire and water, smoke and sky, that old pickup, one faithful friend, and a song too low to ever lie. The lantern glass put gold on everything, on the cooler latch and guitar grain, on the tailgate edge and coffee tin, and the dust left from the day. Every rough old thing looked honest, nothing polished, nothing dressed. And I think that's why the hour felt right, it let the whole man come to rest. I poured the water slow and steady, watched the steam drift through the pine, held the cup up in both hands and felt the long day leave my spine. He lifted up his head to look and laid it down beside my boot, like he knew this was the best part, after all the work was through. So I sang about the softer miles, the kind you make when the road is done, when the sky turns dark above the lake and the pines give back the sun. About a man who keeps on going, but knows when evening means come still, when a low voice and a little fire can settle more than daylight will. No sadness in it, no old ache, just the kind of calm that stays when your hands are warm around a cup and the night comes on this way. No bright shine, no empty sweetness, just chesty tone and cedar air, and the dog breathing slow beside me, like a promise resting there. The moon came up behind the timber, clean and pale above the black, and the old truck caught that silver edge all along the weathered back. I played another line more slowly, let it lean into the flame, and the shore held every note like it had already known my name. If tomorrow calls, it can wait till morning, the road will still be there to find. But tonight belongs to Kettle steam, to low mail songs and an easy mind, to denim wood smoke, fire and lantern, to a loyal dog and a steady lake, and the peace that comes to weathered men when they finally get to break. The truck rolled in where the shoreline curves, and the gravel gave beneath the wheels. Cut the engine, heard the evening settle in the way a tired man feels. Not worn down, just glad to be here, with the pines and the cooling lake, with a lantern on the tailgate rail, and the kind of peace you don't have to chase. He came around from the passenger side, same good dog with the steady eyes, found his place by the firing stones while the last light thinned in the sky. I laughed a little, struck one match, watched the small flame catch the wood, and the whole camp woke in amber like the night it turned out good. I took the guitar across my knee, let a low chord roll out slow, deep and warm with that road-worn edge, like a man who means what he knows. No sadness in the line I sang, just a calm old kind of grace, the sort that comes when the long day's over and you found a welcome place. Landing through a circle on the chrome on the cooler latch and coffee tin, and every rough and useful thing looked right at home there in it. He laid his chin across my boot, thumped his tail once on the dirt, and that small sound felt like a promise that tonight the world would work. It had been a day of miles and dust, county roads and weathered signs, but the weight of it was lifting out with the smoke moving through the pines. Some evenings don't ask much of you, they just hand you back your breath, a low mail song, a little fire, and a night that settles in your chest. So I sang about the kind of roads that lead a man where he should be, not not in a hurry, not for glory, just to a shore lined up with trees. About the truck and the lantern glow, and a dog that never leaves your side. About how the best part of the whole long day is where the dark turns warm outside. The moon came clear above the timber, and the lake went smooth and black, holding little shakes of silver just beyond the tailgate back. I kept the rhythm easy in my hands, steady as an old heartbeat, and every note felt a little lighter than the dust along the seat. No heartbreak in this firelight, no looking back for what is gone. Just a good straight pull of evening, enough left in me for song. The dog ran slow beside the embers, the lantern hummed low and bright, and the whole shore felt like it was saying, you made it here, and that's enough tonight. I leaned back against the pickup bed, looked up through the cedar black, thought how a man can come in tired and still leave lighter from a place like that. Not because the world got smaller, not because the road got tame, just because a quiet, honest hour can put the strength back in your frame. So I played until the fire dropped low, and the sparks thinned in the air, with one good friend beside my boots and cool pine wind moving there. Tomorrow's road can wait till morning, it'll still be there to run, but tonight belongs to this deep calm and the kind of dark that feels like home. Pulled in late with the workday dust still settled on the hood and door. Cut the engine, heard the pines breathe out, and I didn't need much more. Dropped the gate on that old pickup bed, set the lantern where it could shine wide, watched the small flame find the dark, like it had been waiting all this time. He came around with that easy step, same good dog, same faithful eyes. Stood there quiet by the firing stones underneath the evening sky. I rubbed his neck and struck a match, let the cedar kindling catch, and the whole camp took on a warmer look as the light leaned through the black. It had been a long one, sure enough, hours under load and noise, but nothing in me felt beat down, just ready for the simpler choice. A low guitar, a steady flame, a little air off the lake at night, kind of calm a man can trust when the road lets go of him right. So I took the 6-string from the seat, rested it low against my chest, let one deep chord roll off the strings and out across the water's rest. It wasn't heavy, it wasn't sad, just warm and grounded, slow and clear, the sort of line that says you made it and the good part of the day is here. The lantern threw gold on the tailgate rail, on the cooler rope and coffee tin, on the weather in my jacket seams and the dust along my skin. Every rough old thing looked better under fire and amber light, like the whole world gets a little kinder when a hard day turns to night. He laid down close beside my boot, watching sparks lift and fade thin, thumped his tail once on the dirt, then settled easy back again. That small sound felt like a promise, plain as wood smoke, strong as stone, that a quiet place and one good friend can turn a tired hour into home. I sang about the roads that empty out when the work is finally done, about the way the shoulders loosen when the pines outlast the sun, about a man with a low voice left and enough strength for one more song, about arriving where the dark feels warm and finding out you still belong. No heartbreak in these firelit lines, no looking back to sink too low, just the steady rise of evening and the deeper peace it knows. The lake held moonlight in thin pieces, the truck bed held the lantern glow, and every note I kept on singing felt a little stronger as it went. There's hope in simple things at night, in a low flame catching good dry wood, in a dog that stays in a camp held still, and knowing the road got you somewhere good. Not loud hope, not bright and flashy, just the kind that settles in, quiet as a baritone in timber air, and strong enough to start again. So I kept the rhythm moving easy, like tires on a slower road, and the fire answered in red breaths while the dark grew soft and old. Tomorrow's miles can wait till the sunrise, they'll still be there beyond the trees, but tonight belongs to this deep calm and the lift it brings a man like me. When the coals drop low and steady, I set the guitar by my side. I looked across that barking water with the lantern warm and bright. He was breathing slow beside my boot, and the whole camp felt settled right, like the long day ended in the best way, with low mail songs and living light. I pulled in where the shoreline opened, killed the lights and heard the day fall still. Old truck breathing out in little clicks underneath the darkening hill. Dropped the gate and lit the lantern, set it warm against the steel, and the whole camp took on that amber that makes the hard ground feel more real. He came close and laid beside the cooler, sang good dog with quiet eyes, watching sparks begin to lift and fade sky. I took the guitar across my knee, let one low chord meet the shore. Not a lonely kind, just steady, like I'd finally found what I came for. It had been a long one full of motion, dust and work and miles to run, but none of that could stay too heavy. Once the pines outlasted sun, there's a strength in simple stopping, in a fire catching clean and slow, in a low male song by the water, and a lantern giving off its glow. The tailgate held the cup and thermos, the lantern lit the bed rail seam, and every rough and useful thing looked better in that firelit gleam. He thumped his tail once on the gravel and settled easy near my boot, like he knew the best part of the whole day was when the world turned quiet and true. So I sang about the evening clearing, about the lift that follows strain, about the way a man comes back to himself when the dark arrives this way. No sadness in the words I carried, just a grounded, hopeful line, something warm and road-worn in the chest, like cedar smoke through timber pines. Across the lake the moon came rising, clean and pale beyond the trees, and the truck stood strong behind me, holding all our simple needs. I kept the rhythm slow but certain, let it breathe and let it land, and the whole shore felt a little brighter with the guitar in my hands. If tomorrow brings more road before us, that's alright, we'll meet it then. But tonight belongs to lantern light, to low songs, and a faithful friend, to the kind of calm that stays with you long after coals have lost their flame, and leaves a man a little stronger than the way he came. I'd kick my boots out by the tailgate, let the hard day leave them there. Lantern glowing on the truck bed rail, fire breathing through the air. He was lying close beside the stones, same good dog, calm and still. And the lake beyond the pines looked wide, like the night had opened uphill. I took the guitar and sat back easy on that old familiar steel. Struck one chord down low and steady, just to hear how quiet feels. Not a lonely kind of feeling, not the kind that pulls you down, more like when the whole world loosens and the last light leaves the ground. It had been a full one, no denying, working miles and weather too, Hands on the wheel and dust on denim, same old road a man goes through. But the best part came in getting here, where the dark turned warm and slow, where a lantern and a low male song made the whole camp start to glow. He looked up when I started singing, thumped his tail once on the dirt, then laid back down beside the fire like he knew that this part worked. There's a lot a man can carry through the noise and through the strain, but a little calm beside the water puts the strength back in again. The flames lean red against the driftwood, smoke moves soft through cedar trees, and every rough old thing around me settled into quiet ease. Cooler, thermos, jacket, bed rail, all those plain familiar lines looked a little more like home under lantern, golden pine. So I sang about an hour like this one, when the shoulders finally drop, when you don't need much beyond a fire and a good place to stop. About a dog that stays beside you and a truck that got you through. About low songs at the edge of evening and the kind of peace that's true. Across the lake the moon came higher, clean and pale above the black, and the old pickup held the lantern like it had my whole life packed. Not in boxes, not in big things, just in habits built to last. Find the shore, light the fire, let the long day finish past. I kept the rhythm slow but certain, let it breathe and let it land. Every line a little stronger, coming warm out of my chest. No heartbreak in the way I sang it, no old ghost inside the flame, just the hopeful kind of quiet that can steady any man. Tomorrow's road can rise when it wants to, it'll still be there at dawn. But tonight is low fire, deep voice, and the feeling of holding on to the simple things that matter when the workday runs its length. One good dog, one lantern burning, and enough calm to feel your strength. I pulled up slow where the shoreline opens after a day that ran its length. Killed the engine, heard the gravel settle, felt the quiet hand me back some strength. Set the lantern on the tailgate corner, watched it warm the truck bed rail, and the first small fire by the stones put a kind red line into the trail. He came over with that steady manner, same good dog, same faithful calm. Laid down close beside the fire ring, like he knew this hour would do no harm. I took the guitar across my knees, let one low chord meet the trees. Not heavy, not looking backward, just deep and easy in the breeze. It had been a full day, sure enough, dust and work and miles between. But the best part comes when the road falls quiet and the dark turns clear and clean. There's a kind of peace in getting here, boots on dirt, smoke in your clothes, when a low mail line and a lantern glow make the whole night feel close. The lake held on to the last pale color, then gave it over to the moon. And the old truck stood there solid, like it had brought me right on cue. Every rough old thing looked better, cooler, thermos, weathered steel, under firelight, an amber glass, in the kind of night that feels real. He raised his head when I started singing, thumped his tail once on the ground, then settled back into the firelight, easy with that low warm sound. That's the kind of company I trust. No need for talk, no need for show, just a loyal heart beside the embers, while the stronger part of evening grows. So I sang about the day letting go, and the good that waits when work is through, about a man finding steady in the dark, and the dog that always rides with you, about the roads that don't defeat you, they just lead you where you land, to a little fire, a breathing lake, and some strength back in your hands. No sadness in the way I held it, no old ache inside the flame, just the grounded kind of hopeful that comes when night arrives this way. The pines stood tall beyond the lantern, the sparks rose up and disappeared, and every note came out a little short than the ones I brought in here. Tomorrow's miles can wait till morning, they'll still be there beyond the trees, but tonight belongs to slow, low singing, to cedar smoke and cooler breeze, to one old truck, one faithful shadow, and the peace that firelight brings, when the long day ends beside the water, and a man can breathe again and sing. lantern through its circle, on the tailgate and the rail, on the cooler and the coffee cup, and the dust along the steel. I sat back with the guitar low and the fire near my knee, while the lake went dark beyond the pines, quiet as it ought to be. He was stretched out by the embers, same good dog, easy and still, lifting up his head now and then like he liked the evening chill. I gave the strings a slow first rhythm, let it roll out warm and deep, not a lonely kind of sounding, just the kind a man can keep. It had been a solid day of working, hands and hours put to use, nothing wasted, nothing broken, just a long road running through. And that made the night feel better, made the lantern brighter too. When the work is done and done well, simple things come shining through. The old pickup held the firelight like it knew this part by heart. Tailgate down, one side dented, still doing its quiet part. There's a strength in things that last, in worn wood, denim, boot and song, in a dog that stays beside you, and a road that brings you home. So I sing about the hour settling, about the lift a man can feel when the pines stand dark around him and the whole shore turns real, about a low voice in the fire glow and the calm that follows strain, about a faithful shadow breathing while the sparks rise up again. No sadness in the lantern light, no looking back too far, just the grounded kind of hopeful that comes with smoke and stars. He thumped his tail once on the gravel when I leaned into the line, and that little sound fit perfectly with the lake and the timber sky. The moon came clear beyond the branches, silver on the truck bed seam, and every rough old thing around us looked better in that gleam. I kept the rhythm low and certain, let the chorus take its time, and the whole camp felt a little stronger with that baritone in the night. Tomorrow may bring more miles waiting, more work and road to carry through, but tonight belongs to fire and lantern and the things I know are true. One old truck, one faithful companion, one guitar and a quiet shore, and a deep road song at the tailgate that leaves a man with a little more. Came up above the timber, clean and pale beyond the pines, lantern glowing on the tailgate, throwing gold across the lines of the cooler, cup and bed rail, of the jacket by my knee. And the lake held both those lights out like they'd always meant to be. He was lying near the fire ring, same good dog, quiet and near, watching sparks climb through the branches, then fade out and disappear. I took the guitar low against me, let one deep chord find the shore. Not a lonely sound, just steady, like the kind I'd been waiting for. It had been a day of work in motion, dust and miles and weathered signs. But the best part came in losing all that noise among the pines. There's a kind of strength in evening, when the dark comes warm and slow, and a man can feel the long day turn into a gentler glow. The old truck stood there like an old friend, tailgate down and taking light, holding every plain good thing we needed for a fire and a decent night. Nothing fancy, nothing polished, just the rough and useful kind. And somehow all of it looked better under moon and lantern shine. He raised his head when I started singing, thumped his tail once on the sand, then laid it back beside the embers, like he knew just where I stand. That's the kind of company I trust, steady-hearted, close and true, the kind that makes the whole camp stronger without asking anything of you. So I sang about the moon above us and the warmth below the steel, about the way a man comes back to center when the quiet starts to heal. Not by sorrow, not by longing, just by letting the good night in, with a low voice, fire and shoreline, and a faithful friend staying with him. The rhythm stayed slow and grounded, like tires on an older road, and every line came out a little surer, with that baritone in the glow. Tomorrow's miles can wait till morning, they'll still be there when dawn arrives, but tonight belongs to moonlight and the campfire keeping time. Lantern held a steady circle on the tailgate and the steel, on the coffee cup and cooler and the dust along the wheel. I leaned back with the guitar low, let the first chord meet the night, deep and warm across the shoreline, easy in the firelight. He was lying near the embers, same good dog calm and near, watching sparks climb through the branches, then vanish in the clear. I gave the strings a slower rhythm, one that fit the timber line, not too heavy, not too polished, just chest deep and true in time. It had been a full day of working, miles and weather, hands and strain, but the best part came in reaching this small camp beside the flame. There's a kind of peace in arriving when the long road lets you go, and a low voice by the water meets the dark, soft and slow. The old pickup stood behind me, tailgate down, one light still warm, holding all the plain good pieces that can carry a man through storms. Not big storms, not broken weather, just the usual weight of days, and the quiet way it leaves you when the fire glows this way. He raised his head when I was singing, thumped his tail once on the sand, then laid it back beside my boot like he understood the plan. That's the kind of company I trust, steady-hearted, close and clear, the kind that makes the whole night stronger just by breathing near. So I sang about the shoulders easing, about the lift that follows strain, about the way a little lantern can make a rough hour feel changed, about a truck that got you through it, and a dog that stays on through, and the kind of low road folk at evening that leaves a man more solid too. Across the lake the moon kept rising, silver through the upper pine, and every rough and useful object looked better in that shine. I kept the rhythm slow but certain, let it breathe and let it land, and the whole camp felt more grounded with the guitar in my hands. Tomorrow's road can wait till sunrise, it'll still be there beyond the trees, but tonight belongs to Ember light, to cedar smoke and easy breeze, to one old truck, one faithful shadow, and the peace the fire can bring, when a deep voice meets the quiet, and a good night answers back in kind. The lantern held its steady circle on the tailgate and the rail, on the coffee cup and cooler, and the dust along the steel. I leaned back with the guitar low, and the fire down by my knee, while the lake went dark beyond the pines, quiet as it ought to be. He was lying near the Ember, same good dog calm and near, watching sparks go up in little lines, then fade out and disappear. I brushed the strings and found a rhythm, deep and warm and easy, slow. Not a lonely kind of sounding, just the kind that settles low. It had been a full day of working, hands and hours put to use, miles behind and weather on me. Same old jacket, same worn boots, but the best part came in reaching this small camp beside the flame, where a man can feel the long day leave without a need to name it. The old pickup stood behind me, tailgate down, one light still warm, holding all the plain good pieces that can carry a man through storms. Not big storms, not broken weather, just the usual weight of days, and the quiet way it leaves you when the fire glows this way. He raised his head when I was singing, thumped his tail once on the sand, then laid it back beside my boot, like he understood the plan. That's the kind of company I trust, steady-hearted, close and true, the kind that makes the whole night stronger without asking anything of you. So I sang about the pines and water and the calm that follows strain, about the way a lantern by a truck can make a rough hour change, about a dog that stays beside you, and a road that brought you through, and the kind of low road folk at evening that leaves a man more solid too. Across the lake the moon kept rising, silver through the upper pine, and every rough and useful object looked better in that shine. I kept the rhythm slow but certain, let it breathe and let it land, and the whole camp felt more grounded with the guitar in my hands. Tomorrow's road can wait till sunrise, it'll still be there beyond the trees, but tonight belongs to Ember light, to cedar smoke and easy breeze, to one old truck, one faithful shadow, and the peace the fire can bring, when a deep voice meets the quiet night answers back in kind. The lantern threw a mellow circle on the tailgate and the rail, on the cooler and the coffee cup, and the dust along the steel. I sat back with the guitar low while the fire leaned red and slow, and the lake beyond the pine line held the last of evening glow. He was resting by the embers, saying good dog, calm and near, watching sparks climb through the dark, then vanish clean and disappear. I brushed the strings and found a rhythm, deep and warm and easy said, not a lonely kind of sounding, just the kind that lets you rest. It had been a full day of working, miles and weight and weather too, but the best part came in reaching the small camp beside the blue. There's a kind of peace in getting here when the long road lets you go, and a low voice by the water meets the night soft and slow. The old pickup stood behind me, tailgate down, one light still warm, holding all the plain good pieces that can carry a man through storms. Not big storms, just daily burdens, just the usual pull and strain, and the quiet way they leave you when the fire glows again. He raised his head when I was singing, thumped his tail once on the sand, then laid it back beside my boot, like he understood the plan. That's the kind of company I trust, steady-hearted, close and true, the kind that makes the whole night stronger without asking anything of you. So I sang about the shoreline and the calm that follows strain, about the way a lantern by a truck can make a rough hour change, about a dog that stays beside you, and a road that brought you through, and the kind of deep road folk at evening that leaves a man more solid too. Across the lake the moon kept rising, silver through the upper pine, and every rough and useful object looked better better in that shine. I kept the rhythm slow but certain. Let it breathe and let it land. And the whole camp felt more grounded with the guitar in my hands. Tomorrow's road can wait till sunrise. It'll still be there beyond the trees. But tonight belongs to ember light, to cedar smoke and easy breeze, to one old truck, one faithful shadow, and the peace the fire can bring. When a deep voice meets the quiet, and a good night answer.